This 12-year-old has her own chicken operation. And she's even moving them herself in her own truck. Off to an early start this morning, left before it was light. We got a big day of driving, probably at least 4 hours according to the GPS. First stop, we're gonna try to go see the guys who make my apron. Sturdy Brothers, way down south of Georgia. Beautiful morning. Taking a little pit stop. Says we got about an hour and 45 minutes left. We're just on time. We have a little bit of time here for a break. Look at these pecan trees. Back on the road again after a quick break. We're right on schedule. Hopefully nothing will stop us now. We have arrived safely to Thomasville with some very special folks. Ben. Hey. And what's this one?
Hey, Spencer.
And together they make the Sturdy Brothers. Who are the Sturdy Brothers? Well, let me see that.
Yeah.
You guys recognize this? It's my apron. These guys make my apron. You hand make these things?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
This has been worn probably 500 days and it's still going strong.
Yeah.
They've offered to do some repairs on it though. I'm gonna get a new one because they're so awesome. This has saved hundreds of dollars of clothing, that's for sure. And I put a scissor in there way too long.
Yeah, it's beat on pretty good, but I think we can.
So how are you guys gonna repair that?
We'll probably take the pocket off and put it back on.
Okay.
So
put a new pocket on.
And what you can, we can put a new pocket on, or we can patch these holes, which we might go ahead and put a new one on. Yeah.
And since this is wax canvas, how do you go about repairing a wax canvas
So
apron?
for the most part, when somebody brings something in, either an apron or we do barber jackets as well, which is right here. We'll send them to a dry cleaner and it'll really pull all the wax out, and then we can take it from there and go and re-wax it and it'll come out looking like new.
Anytime we can reuse, that's a good thing. I am gonna get another one so that I have a spare. What?
Yeah, dude.
You made us some custom American Farm Tour leather.
Assumingly for her.
What?
But
what? A Great American Farm Tour tote
Holy
bag.
crap, this is
Man.
That's awesome. Yeah.
These guys are the best. I first found out about you guys through your Kickstarter campaign.
No. I found them.
Okay.
When I was looking for you an apron.
Okay.
And I looked at like so many different aprons, and so I like saved all these pages and then we went through them together. And I said, who do you like? Which one do you like? And we chose your apron.
Yeah. And what got you guys started on this?
We started out, so I worked in coffee, and then Spencer is one of the owners at Grassroots Coffee here in Thomasville, and we're both baristas looking for a cool apron, and so Spencer broke down and decided to make one.
Because I couldn't afford to buy one.
Nice.
So you spend twice as much to get all the materials to actually make one. So
that's kind of how it originally happened. Then we're like, we should really go with this, and we can make some other things.
So we kind of built a product line around the apron, which was the original one.
It's got a leather rack with leathers and things like that. We got finished product down here, and then we've got, really we use 3 of these regular sewing machines that are industrial machines, and then we have a serger which does like kind of serges 2 pieces of fabric together and cuts off the excess. So those are the main machines we use, and then kind of got it laid out. It's like our workbench is over here. This is where we do most of the rivet work, which is like right here. Brandon will actually go hammer the washer and cut the post on these. So originally they're looking like this, then they're gonna come out clean. And then this right here is a little bit messy, but this is our wax station. So we'll take raw beeswax, which is here, that we get from a local apiary here in town, and we will melt this down and filter all the bad stuff out, and then we have our beeswax coating. So not many people do this. Most people will use like a petroleum-based coating because beeswax is so expensive, but we kind of have a good connection here in town where we can do this.
Good for you guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fresh and crispy.
Yeah, man. That's nice. Got a nice backup apron.
I don't even know if you should put a new pocket on the old one. I feel like you've got you've got to take it off and patch it and put it back on.
Yeah,
So
that gives it more character. We're back at the bus after visiting with those guys. We're about to hit the road. But look, I probably wore that apron 600 days over 2 years. It's still got a lot of life in it, but they're gonna fix it up for me. I can totally endorse those aprons. They're amazing. If you guys are interested in that, I encourage you guys to check out their stuff. It's great stuff, made in America. Beeswax instead of chemical waxes. They're into repairing instead of just replacing. So I'll leave a link to all their stuff down in the description. We're in Florida now. Look at this beautiful grove. Woohoo! Full Circle Farm, here we come. Chickens in the road. The rooster's running back and forth. Come on, buddy, come on. Looks like there's houses over there. Look at that. They got an eggmobile here. This one's going on quite the jog. Just go over, get off the road a little bit, honey, and we'll go right past. There you go. Hey, y'all. How's it going?
Good.
Good. I'm Justin.
I'm Dennis.
Yes, nice to
My wife
meet you.
Felicia.
Nice to meet you.
And our interning couple, Josh and Murphy.
Look here, guys. We hooked up the van. And it went really well. It was fun to have everybody in the bus together. Now we're gonna go move some pigs in the farm van. Look at this.
This is 60 acres of lease land that we've had for about 6 or 7 years. And the owner has just decided to come in and thin the forest. So instead of clear cutting, we were able to convince him to leave about 15% of the trees, so it's a lot of shade.
Nice. And will that be pasture?
That will now be pasture. We were running pigs through there and picking up the acorns, but now there will be even more acorns because of the thinning. The oaks will begin to express themselves, and we'll have more acorns and more grass in between the trees. So it'll be a very nice pasture. You can see this pasture here of our neighbors. No trees at all. Well, in the heat of summer, this is torture for these animals. You need shade in Florida. So this 7 acres that we're going to is also lease land, and there's 2 groups of pigs in here. They've been moved out of the other forest and into here because we're doing the work over there, so we moved them over here.
You look happy.
So we just moved the pigs from that side of that string to over here, and we move them about once a week in an effort to keep them off of their pathogens and parasites. We keep moving them through the forest. The enemy of the pig is heat, so they don't sweat and they don't pant, so the forest is really a good place for the pig. It's an excellent place for the pig to live. So we keep moving them through the forest, and you know, they root and dig and get their food. These pigs get about half of their food off the land and half out of the feeder here. We feed non-GMO feed from Highland Naturals.
So the feed gets shade and food off the land, but what does the pig give back to the land?
The pig gives back to the land disturbance, and you know, it's like some areas they'll like rototill up, completely till up, and then we come and plant seeds behind them and grow a crop for the next round. We don't bring them back for 3 to 6 months to the same spot. So yeah, they give back, they clear the land. They like this piece of land, we couldn't see through this forest here to the other side just 5 years ago. So we're clearing and preparing pasture with the pigs.
How'd you move the feeder?
So when the move is imminent, we let the feeder get empty. We only put enough of feed in to feed them in that paddock. So then the feeder is empty, we just lay it on its side, roll it on the ground to the new spot, set it up and put feed in, and then we let the pigs in.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Ben. Yeah.
What's your role here?
I'm the pork manager, and I move the pigs once a week and make sure they get water and feed.
How do you get these pigs to obey this one little strand of electric wire?
It's a psychological barrier, so when they're little, they learn from electric netting that we have. And then as they get older, we can just put 1 or 2 strands and they'll test it with their nose and they'll get shocked and they realize, well, I don't want to mess with that. And so it's more of a psychological than a physical barrier. So
they don't need a mud pit?
Nope, no mud pit.
Is that just a myth?
Well, they like that. I mean, again, a pig cannot pant and they do not sweat. They don't pant, they don't sweat. So how do they dissipate heat? They dissipate heat by making body contact with the ground, just like that. So that's how they, you know, and so that's good enough. Now in summertime, they really do enjoy a mud pit. They really do, and it's natural for them to have them when it rains or whatever. We give them mud pits sometimes, but then it's usually just the day before we move because they can become a pathogen pit.
What breed is this?
Oh, we don't care about breed. This I think is some old spots, or some old spots at least part, but we don't care about breed. We're like Joel South, and breed is immaterial. We're just looking for the classic 1950s hog. You know, the old style body type, phenotype. Okay. We don't look for...
Why is that better?
Oh, the modern hog is bred for confinement feeding.
Yeah.
And this is a hog that can survive in the wild.
Okay.
There's a big difference. Big difference. Huge. That is a happy pig right there.
I'm not going to take your spot.
And in this whole tilled area here, we can just throw some seeds down, they'll come up. We have real good luck with iron clay pea here, and it grows up and plants itself for the following year even.
They're using the pigs to help clear. You can see here, they've tilled this up, they're going to plant the seeds, and the pigs move out, and eventually this is going to be a pasture for their main operation, the dairy cow.
Alright, so what Ben's doing here is spilling the water just like we spill the feed. We have to empty this whole thing.
Where's your water coming from?
Well, there's a water line comes all the way from the well at the house, and it runs up along the fence line there and across the road and in here. And then we have these quick couplers here, back here at the fence. Runs all the way along the fence line, so he'll just go up and find the next quick coupler and plug in.
These feeders are nice and big so that a large hog can't tip it over. So it's about 100 gallons. And so they can jostle with it and get their head in there, but this all stays full of water from the float valve, so they can't knock it over like a smaller water would. And they get some dirt and sand in there, so it's good every time I move it to flush it out, and that will clean out the dirt that's in there.
Ben, how do you know how big of a paddock to give?
You just kind of gauge based on the size of the pig. You give them a certain amount of feed so that it's an art. It's not as much a science. So if there's a lot of growth and you want to till it up a lot, then you give them more time, and it's based on the season as well. Joel Salatin does about a ½ acre for 50 pigs, and that gives them about a week. But we have different soil, so it's kind of an art.
They will dig. I mean, they're like a chicken. If you put them in a very small space, they'll dig. Larger space, they'll get more food off the land, be able to roam more, they're happier. You know, they're more spacious, they feel like they're freer from their, other pigs and all, have more space. So
another thing is if it starts to smell, it's time to move. 12 days max for parasite life cycle. So no matter how few pigs you have, you want to move them at least once every 12 days to fresh ground, regardless of how big that ground is.
They start these guys out on pasture for a month or two, and then they get them into a trailer with food, and they move them to the forest. And every time in the forest that they move them, it's one paddock over. And then, when it's the end, they get the trailer out again, get food in it, and they can get the pigs in and take them to the butcher. If you don't have a trailer, you just time it and plan it ahead of time that you're running them from paddock to paddock. And then you could borrow a trailer on butcher day or butcher them yourself, especially if you're a homesteader and you're just doing 1 or 2.
So you can see how thick that is.
That was forest before they've come through with anything. That's unprepared forest. And that's a cow on the road. What are the cows eating on in there, Dennis?
Leaves and vines. There's a smilax vine that comes down when they take the trees down.
Yeah.
The cows love the smilax vine. It's like honey or something. They eat it like candy. What we're doing here, instead of a clear cut and coming in and taking all the trees, we're taking about 85% of the trees and leaving 15% of the trees. That creates the savanna that you see here. We want trees and grass, 2 layers. You actually have tree production where you can have timber and products from the trees and grass to grow the cows. So you can have 2 products easily. Put chickens in there yet, you can have 3, and pigs you can have 4. So there's layering of the production here. Many different layers instead of just one clear open pasture. We're trying to create a savanna like the Indians did before we came.
We're heading out to put up the chickens that are in the eggmobile and move the eggmobile. Is that right?
Yep.
Are you the one in charge of the chickens?
Yep.
Are you in charge or are they your chickens?
They're mine.
Cool. How long have they been your chickens? How old are you?
12.
What's this?
The kitchen flops.
Nice. Who's this?
River is the chicken guard dog, and she is bonded with these birds, and she guards them with her life.
Oh, they see her coming. What is your name?
Caroline.
Caroline, how much money do you make on these chickens?
I make $5 a dozen.
Woo! I asked Dennis how much he thought it was costing every day, and he said they feed about a half a bag. They have a non-GMO feed source here. Half a bag is about $10. So they're doing pretty good, getting $20 in sales and it costing $10.
So I shouldn't turn?
Make any sharp turns, and I'm not sure how it'll go, but just go like normal unless I holler at you.
Okay.
Wait a minute, how old are you again?
12.
Awesome, you gonna drive this truck?
Yep.
Woo! Good job. How long you been driving?
For a couple years.
You're an experienced driver now, huh?
Yep.
You gotta start them driving young on the farm, don't you?
Oh yeah, why not?